Yesterday, as I talked a bit about bread, I started feeling nostalgic. While I was trying to sleep, with my stomach disturbed, I found myself reminiscing about life in the underground. With its calm, quiet, and stable environment. I used to make something like bread over there, actually. A bakery. Although it may differ slightly from something called a bakery here. Perhaps it was more like, well, maybe I could call it a factory. I imagine that bakeries here have a variety of breads in various shapes lined up. However, I'm not entirely familiar with how these breads are made, although I have images in my mind of dough being kneaded or bread being removed from the oven with a wooden board. I wonder if bakeries here also make and sell bread in this manner. If so, then it's probably quite different from the place where I worked. I've never done so many things. My workplace was much larger and vast. White grey room filled with machines, where my job was to put dough into molds. All the shapes were identical. I wasn't involved in any other steps. Others handled those, so I don't really know about them. When combined, I wonder if they did something similar to what bakeries here do. But then again, I haven't seen every step of how a bakery makes bread, so I can't be certain. Yesterday, thinking that the crepe I bought had a scent similar to that bread, I decided to try it. However, I never smelled anything in my workplace actually. In my step, the dough itself had almost no scent, and the bread, which would go on to other steps, was placed on a moving table, what I think is called a conveyor belt, and would travel to a different room. So I never got the chance to smell the finished bread in the factory. In the fast room, there were several people in front of me, handling other processes, but I don't think any of them were involved in steps that produced such a scent. Although there were partitions lightly separating us, so I never saw things up close. I could see the people working nearby. After all, we had to monitor each other, you see. Like, machines would cut the dough into uniform pieces and drop them onto the conveyor belt, and there were people who would align the cut dough neatly. So anyway, I wouldn't say I smelled it every day at work, but I did feel a bit of attachment when I ate it. After all, it provided essential nutrients. The section where we worked was more significant than the ones making non-essential items. I've heard about the others working different jobs which, well, maybe enough of this topic. As of yesterday, my stomach still feels a bit heavy, so I spent time idly in my room. I believe it was around noon, or on this device, just short after 2 p.m. or so when I got hungry. And so I went to a place called a convenience store nearby. I had heard that they sell all of sorts of things there. I found something similar to bread there and bought a square light brown piece that resembled the shape I was most familiar with and ate it. This one was also sweet, and unlike the bread I know, it had an array of flavors I couldn't quite decipher, but it was closer to the bread I knew than the crepe from yesterday and easier to eat. It had a fluffy texture I'd never experienced before. By the way, my money continues to dwindle. With the current temperature, I feel like I could manage to stay outside. It's noisy, smelly, and both hotter and colder than the underground, so I'm unsure if I could actually sleep outside, though. I spent a considerable amount of money on this device, which has put me in a bind. Someone mentioned that buying this device was essential if I were to end up in this era. Now that I think about it, where did I buy it? I remember wandering around until I found a place to live here. So, did I buy it somewhere along the way? It was in a chaotic, noisy place that felt overwhelming to the eyes. I think I remember visiting somewhere like that. Yeah. Since coming here, everything has felt so different that my memories seem fragmented. In any case, I still have some money left, so I should be fine for a while longer.